Welcome to the Preeminence Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters, founder of Ascend. Be sure to grab your ultimate guide to preeminence at preeminence.tv. Today we're talking about overclocking. So tune in, listen up, and get ready to take a focused action on your message, mission, and presence to create accelerated results starting right now. Years ago, I was watching one of Tim-Ferriss's television programs, and he was studying the art of Yabusame, which is an ancient art of archery and horseback riding that comes from Japan. And one of the things he had to do is he had to ride this horse down this chute, going full speed, and then stand up on his stirrups and grab an arrow from his back and as an archer, shoot 2 targets as he's going down there. He took 5 days to do something that men take a lifetime to learn. They'll spend their entire life learning this art. And he had 5 days to do it. And one of the things he did was with the archery, in order to get the motions down so he could hit both targets, was he had to learn how to grab an arrow, pull it back into the bow, and then release it, and then grab another arrow. And he knew he had like 8.5 seconds, 8.9 seconds, I think it was, to grab that arrow and shoot the next target. And in order for him to do that, he realized he had a lot of errors at that speed. So what he decided to do was what he called HyperClocking or overclocking. It's a term that's used when people would take a computer's CPU or the speed of their processor and trick it into running faster than the manufacturer recommended or the manufacturer clocked it at. And so what he was able to do is in about 7 seconds grab an arrow and go through the motions. And when he did that, he would fumble up a lot. But when he figured out how to do it at 7 seconds, when he had 8.5, 9 seconds to grab that arrow, put it into the bow, and take aim and shoot it, it felt slow to him. Because what he did was he trained his body and his mind to work faster than the job actually required. Now, how does this play into your life? How does it play into your business? If I wanted to do a podcast, in which I'm doing a podcast right now, I had never done a podcast before. And we're on episode 89, 90, 91, somewhere in there. I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all out. And one of the things, I'd never done a weekly podcast. I wasn't even doing a weekly blog anymore. I had done it years back, and now I thought, I'm going to do some more content. I want to get more content out. And what I decided to do was overclock it. I could do what almost every podcaster does and do a weekly podcast. But I decided I'm going to overclock it. I'm going to push myself, and I have hundreds and hundreds of people thousands of people that are downloading this episode and these episodes that I've created, and they're expecting something of me. See, I'll do more when people expect more from me. So I set that bar high saying, I'm going to have 7 of these go out every week, 1 every day. When the average would be, I just do 1 a week. Now, when I move from a daily podcast over to a weekly podcast, that's super simple because I was doing it 7 times more before. So, where does this apply in your life? What is it that you're thinking of doing? And if you feel that if you had people that were counting on you, a lot of people, that's a big thing to them, is they won't do for themselves what they will do for other people. If there was something that you've been attempting to do, it might be writing a blog. It might be, I'm going to do a webinar where I sell something once a week. I'm going to do a live webinar once a week. And one of the things I did in the past was I knew I needed to make more products. So what I did was I sold the product, and then I had to produce it before the people got to that, let's say, an 8-week program. I had to produce it ahead of them because they were expecting something, and I had a responsibility to give them the content before it came time for it to be due. So this overclocking in your life could be, sometimes people do it with diet. Sometimes people do it with exercise. It's not sustainable for a long period of time, but you're going to do the push to train your body. So if I do just the keto diet for, let's say, 3 months, and I learn how to choose food better. I know when to eat. I know all those different things. Now I'm looking at ingredients. Now I'm looking at, okay, I don't really need those carbs, or I don't need that type of fat. I need a much healthier fat. So you get cognizant of all those things really fast. You're following a plan to overclock what would normally not be sustainable. So at 100 episodes, I've done 100 days of content, whereas before I was doing 0 content. How can you overclock? Your action step on your path to up the road of preeminence is to determine, what am I going to overclock? What am I going to do the push, the short-term push? It could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And something I will tell you is, if you're going to create content, make sure you have a point. So many times people will do the 90-day video challenge or the 30-day video challenge, and all they do is just emptying their mind of whatever and just go blah. Make sure you have a point to it. What is it all about? If you're going to do a diet, why am I on this diet for 30, 60, or 90 days? Or I'm doing this workout routine. I'm really pushing myself for this. What are you learning in the process? What do you want to learn? A lot of times people do this with a class. You're not going to take a cooking class for 5 years, but you're going to take a cooking class to learn a set of skills. You're going to be working at it. Maybe it's every day for a week, every day for a couple weeks, or it's every week for a month or 2 months or something like that. Find out where you can overclock, learn something fast, get content out there quickly, and push yourself for it. Get other people to expect you to perform. That way it's going to hold you accountable, sometimes to yourself, sometimes to other people. And do that and figure out what it is that you can push through and create more and create change in other people's lives more than you are right now. I'll talk to you tomorrow. This daily podcast is all about you becoming the preeminent voice in your marketplace. So take the consistent and necessary action each and every day on what you've learned over the last few minutes. When, not if, when you're ready to take your business, your organization, your name, your brand, and your commitment to the level of preeminence, head on over to preeminence.tv, where you can download your own copy of the Ultimate Guide to Preeminence. Enroll in the Elevation program and join us on one of our next live events. If you're not subscribed, simply visit iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play right now and click subscribe. Until tomorrow, make today and each and every day count towards creating preeminence in your space and a legacy that matters.